The transport ship lurched through the void, its hull groaning like an old man's knees. Captain Kael stood at the viewport, watching the blue marble of Earth shrink behind them. 300 alien prisoners lined the cargo bay below, their forearms shackled, their faces twisted in what passed for fear among the Zenthari species. One human sat among them. Her name was Riley Chen, and she looked about as concerned as someone waiting for coffee. "Explain this to me again," Commander Vorak hissed, his mandibles clicking nervously. The insectoid officer clutched his datapad like it might explode. "Why is there a human in the prisoner bay?" "Wrong place, wrong time," Kael muttered. "She was on station Outpost 7 when we raided it. Grabbed everyone. Sorted it out later. Standard protocol." "Standard protocol?" Vorak's antennae quivered. "Captain, humans are from a Class 12 Deathworld. We don't just casually transport them with regular prisoners. The regulations are very specific about this." Kael waved him off. "She's one girl. Barely armed. What's the worst that could happen?" Those words would haunt him for approximately 47 minutes. The first sign of trouble came when the prisoner bay's environmental controls started fluctuating. The temperature dropped 15 degrees in 60 seconds. The Zenthari began chittering in panic, their exoskeletons clicking together as they huddled for warmth. Riley Chen unbuttoned her jacket. "Life support malfunction on Deck 3, a technician called out. Something's wrong with the oxygen mixture. The prisoners are getting agitated." Kael watched through the security feed as the Zenthari gasped and wheezed. Riley took a deep breath and stretched her arms over her head, cracking her knuckles. "Get that fixed now," Kael snapped. "Working on it, sir, but there's another problem. The security grid just went offline. All of it. Someone's hacking our systems from inside the ship." "From inside?" Vorak's voice climbed 3 octaves. "How is that possible? We're in deep space. There's no external signal, no relay stations, nothing." On the screen, Riley had stood up. She walked to the nearest wall panel, her shackles dragging across the floor. She touched the interface with one finger. Every door in the prisoner bay opened. "Ancestors protect us," Vorak whispered. The Zenthari rushed out in a chittering swarm, confused but desperate for better air. They scattered to the corridors, 300 terrified aliens suddenly loose on a military vessel. Riley walked calmly in the opposite direction. "Security teams converge on Deck 3, Kael barked. "I want that human contained. Non-lethal force only. We need her alive for questioning." "About that, sir," the technician said weakly. "She just locked down all the bulkheads between her and our teams. They can't reach her." Then cut through the doors. "She's also vented the atmosphere in those sections. Our people don't have suits ready." Kael felt a headache building behind his eyes. "What exactly is she doing?" "Heading straight for the bridge, sir." The klaxons started wailing. Red lights bathed the corridors in blood-colored shadows. Kael pulled his sidearm and positioned himself at the bridge entrance. Vorak and 4 guards flanked him, their weapons trained on the single-access door. "She's one human," Kael said, trying to convince himself. "We're trained military personnel with superior firepower. This is our ship, our territory." The door opened. Riley walked in, eating an apple. "Where did she get an apple?" Vorak squeaked. "Cafeteria was on the way," Riley said, taking another bite. "Nice ship you got here. Fast engines, decent shielding, terrible coffee, though. You should really talk to your quartermaster about that." "Drop the fruit and put your hands up," Kael ordered. Riley looked at the apple, then at Kael, then back at the apple. She took another deliberate bite, chewing slowly. "Or what? You'll shoot me? Go ahead. But I should warn you, human biology is weird. We've got redundant systems, efficient clotting and high pain tolerance. Shot me once before. Well, twice actually. Still here. How did you get out of your restraints?" "These?" Riley held up her wrists. The shackles hung open, their electronic locks clearly disabled. Phase 3 titanium alloy. Impressive stuff. Your people obviously never tested them on someone with human grip strength, though. The locking mechanism has a pressure threshold of about 400 pounds. I can deadlift 3 times, and on a bad day, she tossed the shackles aside. They clattered across the deck plating. I should also mention, Riley continued, that I rerouted your navigation system. We're currently on course for the Terran Defense Fleet's patrol zone. Should arrive in about 6 hours. They're going to be very interested in why a Zenthari military vessel was transporting 300 prisoners through neutral space without proper documentation. Kael's blood went cold. You're bluffing. Am I? Riley pulled a small device from her pocket. I grabbed this from your communications array. It's been broadcasting our position and course corrections every 30 seconds since I got loose. Encrypted Terran military frequency. They're definitely listening. Vorik made a noise like a dying kettle. Here's what's going to happen, Riley said, her voice dropping to something dangerous. You're going to release all those prisoners at the nearest neutral station. You're going to provide them with enough supplies and currency to start over. And then you're going to turn this ship around and go home. And if we refuse? Kael tried to sound authoritative. Riley smiled. It didn't reach her eyes. Then in 6 hours, the Terran Defense Fleet shows up. They find 300 illegally detained prisoners, multiple treaty violations, and one very pissed-off human citizen who can testify about everything. Your career ends. Your ship gets impounded. Your entire command faces war crimes tribunals. You can't threaten us on our own bridge, one of the guards growled. I'm not threatening anyone, Riley said pleasantly. I'm explaining consequences. There's a difference. Threats imply I want to hurt you. I don't. I want to go home, eat real food, and sleep in a bed that doesn't smell like disinfectant and fear. You're just obstacles between me and those goals. She took another bite of the apple. Kael's mind raced through options. They could try to shoot her, but stun weapons were notoriously unpredictable on humans. Their neurological makeup was different enough that standard settings either did nothing or caused permanent damage. Lethal force was out of the question. It would only strengthen the war crimes case against them. They could try to physically restrain her, but if she really had the strength she claimed, that would end badly for whoever tried. They could attempt to regain control of the ship's systems, but she'd already demonstrated superior technical knowledge. How did you even learn our security protocols? Vorik asked. You're not military. Your file says you're a freight coordinator. I am a freight coordinator, Riley confirmed, which means I spend my days managing cargo transfers between 100 different species ships. You pick up things, like how Zenthari military vessels use the same base operating system as their civilian transports, and how that system has a documented vulnerability in the environmental controls that's been public knowledge for 3 years. She finished the apple and tossed the core into a waste receptacle. You should really update your software, Riley added. Just saying. Kael lowered his weapon slowly. The math was simple and brutal. They'd messed up, grabbed a human by accident, underestimated her capabilities, and now faced consequences that could destroy everything they'd built. What station? He asked quietly. Outpost Meridian. It's neutral territory, 3 hours from here. Well-supplied, decent facilities. Those people you kidnapped can make a fresh start there. And you? I'll stay aboard until we dock. Make sure you follow through. Then I'm taking a shuttle home, and we all forget this ever happened. The defense fleet? I'll call them off once everyone's safe. But if anything happens to those prisoners, or to me, the recording I made gets released automatically. Insurance policy. Hope you understand. Kael holstered his weapon. Commander Vorik, set course for Outpost Meridian. Maximum speed. Sir, Vorik looked confused. Do it. That's an order. As the bridge crew scrambled to comply, Riley found an empty chair and sat down. She looked completely relaxed, like she did the sort of thing every Tuesday. For what it's worth, Kael said, this wasn't personal. We were following orders. Orders, Riley repeated flatly. Right, because that's always a great defense. Worked out really well throughout history. No problems there. I meant no disrespect to your people. My people, Riley laughed, sharp and bitter, spent 10,000 years being really creative about hurting each other. We got experience with kidnapping, imprisonment, and atrocities. We know exactly how this story goes. That's why we joined the galactic community with very specific rules about this stuff. Rules you broke. She leaned forward, her expression hardening. Here's the thing about humans, Captain. We're pack animals, social creatures. When you hurt one of us, you're sending a message to all of us. And we remember. Maybe not today, not tomorrow, but we remember. Are you threatening my species now? No, Riley said. I'm explaining consequences again. You should really learn the difference. The next 3 hours passed in tense silence. Riley stayed on the bridge, monitoring every system, making sure they followed through. The Zenthari prisoners were gathered, given medical attention, and provided with supplies. When Outpost Meridian appeared on the view screen, Kael felt something like relief. Docking complete, Vorak announced. All prisoners have been transferred. Station authorities have been informed of the situation. Riley stood up and stretched. Pleasure doing business with you, Captain. I'd say let's do this again sometime, but I really hope we never meet again. She headed for the door, then paused. Oh, one more thing. That vulnerability in your environmental controls? I didn't just exploit it. I also installed a patch while I was in your systems. It should protect you from anyone else trying the same trick. You're welcome. Kael blinked. Why would you do that? Riley shrugged. Because security vulnerabilities get people killed. And despite everything, I'm not actually trying to hurt anyone. I just wanted to go home. She left the bridge without looking back. 6 months later, Riley Chen was exactly where she wanted to be, elbow deep in cargo manifests and hating every minute of it. The freighter bay on station Outpost 7 hummed with activity. Loaders hauled containers, pilots argued about docking fees, and somewhere in the background, someone was definitely stealing something. Normal day at the office. Riley checked her tablet, cross-referencing shipment codes against customs declarations. Everything matched. Everything always matched because she was obsessively good at her job. It was boring, predictable, and perfectly safe. She loved it. Chun, you've got a visitor, her supervisor called out. Doc 12. Riley looked up. I'm not expecting anyone. Well, someone's expecting you. Says it's urgent. She sighed and made her way through the controlled chaos of the loading bay. Dock 12 was on the far end, usually reserved for private vessels or diplomatic shuttles. Not the kind of place freight coordinators normally went. A sleek ship sat in the berth, its hull painted in colors she recognized. Zenthari military design, but the markings were wrong. No unit designation, no fleet identifiers. Just a personal crest on the forward section. Captain Kael stood at the airlock. Riley stopped walking. Her hand drifted toward the stunner on her belt, the one she'd started carrying after the incident. Not that it would do much good against a trained soldier, but it made her feel better. Relax, Kael said, holding up his empty hands. I'm not here to arrest you. I'm not even officially here at all. Then what do you want? To talk. 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking. Riley considered walking away. She'd spent 6 months trying to forget the whole mess, the fear, the adrenaline, the awful certainty that she might die in space surrounded by strangers. Seeing Kael brought it all back. But curiosity was a cruel master. 5 minutes, she agreed. Out of her, though, I'm not going on your ship. Fair enough. Kael walked down the ramp and stopped a respectful distance away. He looked different somehow. Tired. Older. I wanted to thank you. Riley blinked. Thank me? For hijacking your ship and threatening to end your career. For the patch. The security fix you installed. Kael pulled out a datapad and showed her a report. 2 weeks after our encounter, my ship detected an intrusion attempt. Pirates are trying to use the same environmental exploit you did. Your patch stopped them cold. Saved my crew's lives. Oh, Riley hadn't expected that. Well, good, I guess. I told my superiors about it. About you, what you could do, how you did it. They were impressed. Concerned, but impressed. That sounds ominous. It gets better. Kael's mandibles twitched in what might have been amusement. They court-martialed me, stripped my command, demoted me 2 ranks. The whole incident became a case study in military academies now. What not to do when dealing with humans. Riley felt a twinge of something. Not quite guilt, but close. I'm sorry. Don't be. I deserved worse. We kidnapped 300 people. We grabbed you by mistake and nearly caused a diplomatic incident. The consequences were appropriate. He tucked the datapad away. But here's the interesting part. After the court-martial, I got recruited. Special division. They want people who understand humans, who work with them even in bad circumstances. Especially in bad circumstances. What kind of special division? The kind that makes sure what happened to you never happens to anyone else. Human or otherwise. We're reviewing protocols, updating training, fixing the systemic problems that led to that mess. Kael paused. They asked me to find you, to deliver a message. I'm not interested in joining the Zenthari military, if that's what this is about. No, nothing like that. They want to hire you as a consultant. Security systems, protocol review, that sort of thing. You prove you can think like both a human and someone who understands alien technology. That's rare, valuable. Riley laughed. You want me to help fix your security after I broke into your ship? Who better? You found vulnerabilities we didn't know existed. You exploited them without killing anyone. You even fixed the problem on your way out. That's exactly the kind of thinking we need. I appreciate the offer, really, but I like my boring job. No offense. None taken. I expected you'd say no, but I had to ask. Kael turned to leave, then stopped. Can I tell you something off the record? Sure. When you walked onto my bridge eating that apple, I thought I was going to die. Genuinely thought my life was over. You were so calm, so certain. It was terrifying. Riley remembered that moment, remembered forcing herself to look casual while her heart hammered against her ribs. I was scared out of my mind. You hit it well. Survival instinct. Humans are good at pretending we're not afraid. It keeps predators from attacking. We're not predators. That day you were. Riley's voice went quiet. You took people from their lives, put them in cages. That makes you a predator, Captain. Doesn't matter what your intentions were. Kael absorbed that like a physical blow. You're right. We were. I was. And I'm sorry. Truly sorry. Not because I got caught or punished, but because I hurt people who didn't deserve it, including you. He pulled something from his pocket and held it out. A small data chip. What's that? Contact information. Emergency frequency. If you ever need help, if you ever find yourself in trouble, call that number. I'll come. No questions asked. It's the least I can do. Riley took the chip slowly. Why would you do that? Because you could have destroyed me, could have pushed for maximum punishment, could have made sure I never worked again. Instead, you showed mercy. You gave me a chance to be better. I want to return the favor. He walked back toward his ship. Kael, Riley called out. Did you really mean it? About making things better? Every word. Then I've got a list. Things I noticed during my involuntary tour of your vessel. Design flaws, security gaps, and cultural sensitivity issues. Give me a week, and I'll send you a full report. Kael's mandibles clicked in what was definitely a smile. I'd appreciate that. And Captain, if you're serious about this new division, about preventing future incidents, you should recruit more humans, people who've been through the system, who understand what it feels like to be powerless. They'll see problems you can't. Already working on it. We've got 3 human advisors now. Former prisoners. All of them. They're changing everything. Good. That's really good. After Kael's ship departed, Riley stood in the dock for a long time, holding the data chip. 6 months ago, she'd been terrified, alone, surrounded by aliens who saw her as a problem to be solved. She fought her way out using nothing but her wits and her knowledge of systems most people ignored. It hadn't felt heroic at the time. It had felt desperate. But maybe that was the same thing. Her tablet chimed. Another shipment arriving. More manifest to check. More routine work that kept the galaxy running. She pocketed the data chip and headed back to the loading bay. 3 weeks later, she was cataloging medical supplies when the alarms went off. Attention all station personnel. The announcement crackled. We have a hostage situation in Sector 9. Armed individuals have taken control of the passenger terminal. Security is responding. Riley's blood went cold. Sector 9 was a civilian area. Families, travelers, people just trying to get from one place to another. Her supervisor was already coordinating evacuations, directing staff to safe zones. Riley pulled up the security feeds on her tablet. 6 armed figures in unmarked armor had sealed the terminal. 23 hostages are visible on camera. She recognized the armor design. Pirates. Probably the same group that had tried to hit Kael's ship months ago. Chun, get to the shelter, her supervisor ordered. Now. Riley looked at the data chip in her pocket. Emergency frequency. No questions asked. She made a decision that was either very brave or very stupid. Instead of heading to the shelter, she ducked into a maintenance corridor and pulled out her personal communicator. The chip interfaced smoothly, establishing a connection that bypassed all normal channels. Emergency frequency. Identify yourself. A voice answered. Not Kael, someone else. My name is Riley Chen. I need to speak to Captain Kael immediately. There's a hostage situation on Station Outpost 7, and I think I can help. Stand by. 10 seconds later, Kael's voice came through. Riley? What's happening? She explained quickly. The pirates, the hostages, the sealed terminal. Station security is good, but they're not fast, Riley said. By the time they breach the terminal, people could die. I need your help. I'm 3 hours away. I know, but you got resources I don't. I need building schematics, access codes, anything that can help me get inside that terminal without the pirates knowing. Absolutely not. You're a civilian. This is a job for professionals. The professionals are still organizing. I'm here now. I know this station better than anyone. And I've already done this once before, remember? Silence on the line. Kael, people are going to die if someone doesn't do something. Please. More silence. Then, I'm sending you everything we have on station layout. Maintenance access points, ventilation systems, security overrides. But Riley, if this goes wrong. I know. Send the files. Her tablet lit up with incoming data. Schematics, access codes, tactical information that civilians definitely weren't supposed to have. Riley studied the layouts. The terminal had 3 maintenance access points, all designed for repair crews. Small, cramped, but they bypassed the main entrances entirely. If she could get in through one of those, she might be able to reach the hostages without alerting the pirates. I've got a plan, she told Kael. It's not a good plan, but it's a plan. Tell me. The pirates are watching the main entrances, but there's a ventilation shaft that runs along the eastern wall, connects to a maintenance tunnel that opens behind the ticket counters. I can get in that way. And then what? Then I improvise. Like last time. Riley, last time you had hours to prepare. This is different. I know, but I'm doing it anyway. Just stay on the line, okay? In case I need help. She didn't wait for his response. Didn't give herself time to think about how terrifying this was. Just moved. The maintenance tunnels were exactly as cramped as the schematic suggested. Riley crawled through darkness, following the route burned into her memory. Her hands shook. Her breathing came too fast. But she kept moving. The ventilation shaft was worse. Barely wide enough for her shoulders, metal edges scraping against her jacket. She could hear voices below now. The pirates are talking, casual and confident. 23 people. 23 lives are depending on someone doing something. She reached the maintenance access point and carefully, slowly, opened the panel. It led to a storage closet behind the ticket counters. She dropped down as quietly as possible. Through the crack in the door, she could see the terminal. Hostages huddled in one corner, pirates spread out, watching the main entrances. Exactly as she predicted, her communicator buzzed softly. Kael's voice, barely a whisper. Station security is ready to breach on your signal. Can you get the hostages clear? Riley studied the layout. The hostages were 30 feet away. Between her and them stood 2 armed pirates. Maybe, she whispered back. Give me 60 seconds. She needed a distraction, something that would draw attention away from the hostages. Her eyes fell on the terminal's environmental controls, accessible through a wall panel near her position. Same system as the ship, same vulnerability. Riley pulled out her tablet and started working. The interface was familiar now, almost comfortable. She'd done this before. She could do it again. The temperature dropped. Lights flickered. The pirates looked around nervously. "What's happening?" one of them called out. "Environmental malfunction." Another answered. "Station's a piece of junk." The lights went out completely. In the darkness, Riley moved. She grabbed the nearest hostage, a woman clutching a child, and whispered urgently, "Follow me. Stay quiet. Pass it on." The message rippled through the group. 23 people moving in absolute silence, trusting a stranger in the dark. The maintenance closet swallowed them one by one. Riley counted them off, making sure everyone made it. 21, 22, 23. The last person was through when the lights came back on. "Where are they?" a pirate shouted. "Breach, breach, breach," someone yelled, and suddenly station security was everywhere, filling the terminal with bodies and weapons and chaos. Riley sealed the maintenance access and herded the hostages deeper into the tunnels, away from the fighting towards safety. "You saved us," the woman with the child whispered. "Who are you?" "Nobody important," Riley said. "Just someone who was in the right place at the right time." Later, after the security reports were filed and the hostages were reunited with their families, Riley sat alone in the loading bay. Her hands had stopped shaking. Her heart rate had returned to normal. Her communicator chimed. "You did good work," Kael said. "I got lucky." Luck favors the prepared. You knew exactly what to do because you'd done it before. That's not luck. That's skill. Riley didn't respond. "The offer still stands," Kael continued. "Consultant position. Help us make systems better, safer, so fewer people end up in these situations. Let me think about it. Take your time. But Riley, thank you for caring enough to try. Most people wouldn't have." She ended the call and looked out at the stars beyond the viewport. 6 months ago, she'd been a victim. Today, she'd been something else. Something stronger. Maybe boring wasn't what she needed after all. Maybe what she needed was purpose. The next morning, Riley sent Kael a message. Just 2 words. "I'm in.